A rare and formidable storm system is expected to take shape just off the U.S. coastline in the coming days, and it has the potential to unleash major disruptions from Florida all the way up to New England. This system could generate powerful near-hurricane force winds along with torrential rainfall, coastal flooding, and towering waves capable of eroding beaches along its path. At the same time, another intense heat wave is poised to grip large portions of the nation heading into this weekend and next week, with no significant signs of winter immediately on the horizon. In today's forecast, we'll break down everything you need to know about the dynamic weather patterns that will shape conditions across the United States over the next 7 days. Current conditions across the nation. Right now, a potent low-pressure system has surged into the northeastern United States, bringing scattered showers this morning that are expected to dissipate later in the day. Earlier, this system triggered localized flooding in parts of the Ohio Valley, but conditions are gradually drying out across much of the Midwest and Ohio Valley. In the system's wake, a blast of colder air has swept across the northern and central plains, as well as the Midwest, ushering in below-average temperatures that will linger briefly for the next couple of days. Hurricane Priscilla and southwest impacts. Meanwhile, off the western coast of Mexico, just south of Baja California, Hurricane Priscilla is churning over the next several days. Remnants of this storm are expected to track northward, eventually lifting into Arizona, California, and New Mexico by the weekend and early next week. This will funnel an enormous surge of Pacific moisture into the desert southwest, significantly raising the threat of flooding in typically arid regions as this tropical energy moves inland. Historic tornado event. In other breaking weather news, the first EF5 tornado in 12 years was officially confirmed in the United States. This devastating tornado struck Enderlin, North Dakota on June 20th of this year, remaining on the ground for approximately 18 minutes and tragically claiming the lives of 3 people. We covered this historic and catastrophic event both in a YouTube short and live on our secondary channel. You can find that coverage via the top link in the description below. A major pattern shift ahead. The national weather pattern is about to undergo a dramatic transformation, setting the stage for unusual and impactful conditions across the country. Currently, mid-level atmospheric flow reveals a meridional jet stream. A low-pressure center sits just north of New England. A broad high-pressure ridge is building over the Great Plains. Another low-pressure system lingers off the Pacific Northwest coast, and Hurricane Priscilla is situated to the south. By late Thursday into Friday, models indicate the potential development of a new low-pressure system north of Minnesota and Wisconsin. This disturbance is projected to sweep through the Great Lakes, delivering a sharp burst of cold air Friday into Saturday. Freeze warnings are already in effect this morning for parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin, and more could follow later this week as temperatures plunge toward freezing. While widespread snow is not expected yet, this will serve as an early reminder that winter is on the way. The coastal low, this week's big story. As we move into late Saturday and Sunday, the inland low will gradually weaken over the Great Lakes and merge with a developing coastal system just east of Florida and the Carolinas. This coastal low is expected to rapidly intensify, becoming the dominant weather maker of the week. While it's unlikely to transition into a named tropical storm or hurricane, it will still bring tropical storm-like impacts, including winds approaching hurricane intensity, heavy flooding rainfall, dangerous wave heights, and beach erosion. This storm's influence will extend along the entire eastern seaboard, from Florida to New England, potentially affecting millions of residents with a wide range of hazardous conditions. While all of this is unfolding, another dynamic low-pressure system is expected to eject eastward over the Rocky Mountains late Saturday into Sunday, setting the stage for scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms, and even the potential for blizzard conditions in portions of Canada through Sunday and Monday. By the middle of next week, the overall weather pattern looks to remain highly active, with a vigorous jet stream, high pressure anchored near the Gulf Coast, and multiple low-pressure disturbances pushing across both the West Coast and the Rockies. In short, the atmosphere will be anything but quiet as we head deeper into mid-October. Temperature roller coaster ahead. Before diving further into the rare coastal storm systems developing over the coming days, it's important to highlight the temperature fluctuations expected across the country. Current temperature anomaly maps show below average readings across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast, while warmer than normal conditions dominate the Rockies and the West Coast. As we approach Friday and Saturday, a small pocket of colder air will settle in, dropping temperatures enough to trigger freezing conditions in parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. While not as cold as earlier in the week, this brief chill will still be noteworthy, with the cold air spreading into Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio by late Friday. Meanwhile, heat will rebuild across the Great Plains and parts of the Midwest as a coastal storm off the Carolinas and Virginia delivers heavy rain, gusty winds, and cooler air to the eastern seaboard heading into Monday through Wednesday. By mid-October, record-challenging warmth may once again surge across the Midwest and the Great Lakes, while cooler, stormier conditions grip the East Coast. Temperature outlook today. Highs in the 80s and 90s across the Gulf Coast, with pleasant autumn air over the Midwest and Northeast. Thursday morning, freezing temps possible in the higher elevations of the Northeast. Highs will climb into the 80s across parts of the Central Plains, including South Dakota and Nebraska. Friday morning, widespread freezing temperatures are likely from Pennsylvania through Maine, with readings dipping into the upper 20s and low 30s. Early Saturday, another brief cold shot brings mid-30s to low 40s to portions of Michigan and the Midwest. Sunday, similar chilly conditions linger across Michigan and Wisconsin as that small cold pocket holds late Sunday into Monday. Warmth rapidly expands from Texas up into Illinois and Wisconsin, while cooler air and coastal rains persist along the eastern seaboard. Rare coastal storm taking shape. We've been closely tracking this rare coastal storm, which is gearing up to be a high-impact weather event. Here's how the setup evolves over the next few days. At present, showers and storms are pushing off the northeast and mid-Atlantic coasts as a powerful 1,032 ME high-pressure system builds inland, a strong autumn high. By late Thursday into Friday, conditions begin to shift dramatically. Moisture pooling around Florida and just south of South Carolina will start interacting with the atmosphere, leading to the birth of a low-pressure system off Florida's eastern coast. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, Hurricane Priscilla is inching toward Baja California, funneling tropical moisture toward the desert Southwest, where significant rainfall is expected this weekend into early next week. Early Friday, thunderstorm activity will ramp up just offshore from Florida, only 3 days away. Simultaneously, a secondary, rare, low-pressure feature will form over the Great Lakes, bringing showers and cooler air to the Midwest, though this system will be weaker and less significant. Rapid intensification off the East Coast. Late Friday into Saturday, a coastal low will consolidate just east of Florida, while heavy rains spread across the Four Corners region due to Priscilla's moisture plume. By Saturday night into Sunday, the Atlantic low is forecast to rapidly deepen off the Carolinas, although it is not expected to acquire strong tropical characteristics, meaning it likely won't become Tropical Storm Karen. It is expected to mimic many of the impacts of a tropical system. This includes torrential rainfall capable of producing flash flooding, strong, potentially damaging winds, wind gusts reaching tropical storm to hurricane force, especially near Cape Hatteras, Virginia, and possibly New England by Sunday. The big uncertainty lies in the track. The storm's low-pressure center could push north toward New England, or it could slam into the mid-Atlantic, near Virginia or North Carolina. Regardless of the exact path, this storm will deliver a significant punch to the eastern seaboard with widespread impacts from Florida to the northeast, prolonged storm threat and blizzard risk. Rainfall and powerful winds are expected to pummel portions of the eastern seaboard for several consecutive days, making this a multi-day coastal event to keep a close eye on. Meanwhile, as this system unfolds, a separate threat emerges to the north. A potential blizzard, or at the very least, a significant winter storm, is projected to impact parts of Canada on Monday and Tuesday. If you're in those regions, be prepared for harsh, wintry conditions. Snowfall is also anticipated across the Rockies and the higher terrain of the Pacific Northwest, setting the stage for a truly diverse weather pattern across North America. New storm systems next week. As we move into the middle and latter part of next week, another low-pressure system is forecast to sweep across the Rockies, reintroducing showers and thunderstorms to the central and northern plains between Wednesday and Friday. Beyond that point, heading into next weekend, the forecast becomes much more uncertain, hinging on the track and intensity of the developing coastal storm off the eastern U.S. Intensifying coastal winds. By late Thursday into Friday, strong winds will begin developing just offshore from the Carolinas and Virginia, initially ranging from 20 to 35 miles per hour, not particularly extreme at first. However, once the coastal low fully forms on Saturday and Sunday, wind speeds are expected to ramp up dramatically. Forecast models indicate gusts of 50 to 65 mph, with isolated pockets possibly reaching 70 mph just off the South Carolina coast. By late Sunday into early Monday, if the system tracks far enough north toward New Jersey, Delaware, or southern New England, inland gusts of 40 to 50 mph are possible, while coastal zones could easily experience 60-70 mph winds. According to the European model, if the storm remains just offshore, gusts could reach 80 to 90 mph at times off the Carolinas, rivaling the power of a strong tropical system, despite not being classified as one. Although this system is not expected to officially attain tropical storm status, it will mimic many of the same hazards: flooding rains, damaging winds, and coastal impacts that could persist for multiple days. Heavy rainfall potential. This storm is expected to unleash widespread rainfall Sunday through Tuesday. While the exact placement of maximum rainfall is still uncertain, preliminary estimates suggest 1 to 4 inches of rain for many coastal regions. Localized zones may receive significantly higher totals depending on the exact track. Some model projections highlight Cape Hatteras as a potential bullseye, with 12 to 15 inches of rain possible in isolated pockets. As the storm path becomes clearer, these rainfall forecasts will be refined in future updates. Hurricane season update: Atlantic activity ramps up. The Atlantic Basin remains active. Tropical Storm Jerry officially formed yesterday just east of the Lesser Antilles. Additionally, a small disturbance in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico is producing heavy rain over Mexico, though significant development there is not expected. The main story is Jerry, which is forecast to strengthen into a hurricane by Thursday morning, remaining east of the Lesser Antilles. Tropical storm watches are currently in effect for portions of the Lesser Antilles east of Puerto Rico. By early Friday, these islands will likely face tropical storm to near hurricane force winds along with torrential rain. Jerry is then expected to curve northward over the weekend, with potential impacts to Bermuda, though its exact path remains uncertain. Thank you guys. See you next video.